Hello everyone. Today, me and my classmates are going to do an overall case analysis of the famous coffee company Starbucks. So I'd like to start off by doing a little brief history of Starbucks and how it came about. So Starbucks was founded by Jerry Baldwin, Gordon Booker, and Zev Siegel when they met as teachers and friends at the University of San Francisco. They opened their first store in 1971 by investing some of their own money and then borrowing the rest. And then by the early 1980s, Starbucks had opened 4 stores in Seattle. In 1980, Siegel left the company to pursue other interests and then ultimately leaving the company solely to Baldwin and Booker, at which time Baldwin assumed the role of president of the company and Booker took on other major aspects of the company. In 1982, Baldwin and Booker hired a man named Howard Schultz as the head of marketing, and Mr. Schultz went on to play a very big role in the company, but actually he ended up leaving the company in 1985 over disagreements with Baldwin and Booker over what direction the company should take. But then right after that, in 1987, Baldwin and Booker actually decided to sell the company, and at which point Howard Schultz decided to come back and buy the company to own it outright, and has basically brought it to what it is today, being the CEO and president and playing a major role in the past 20 years. And then currently the headquarters of Starbucks is in Seattle, Washington. Next, I'd like to discuss a little bit of the strategy that Starbucks currently takes. So Starbucks uses what's called a broad differentiation strategy. Basically, the purpose is to slightly differentiate themselves from other companies similar to them in the market. But the way they're different is when so Starbucks mainly competes with companies like McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, and any other local coffee shop in any area. The difference is that many coffee shops look to offer products at the lowest prices, especially when it comes to coffee. Starbucks takes a little bit of a different approach to it. They focus more on offering more quality products and keeping the prices a little bit higher, and they feel like they can keep those prices higher because their products are so different than any other coffee shop or any other competition that sells coffee in the market. And they're more focused on kind of being a lifestyle and premium brand, so to speak, and more of a quality brand more than just, selling, coffee that you can get for $1 through a drive-through. They want to offer, basically something different than any other coffee shop, run-of-the-mill coffee shop could. And then they focus on continuing to innovate and bring in new products. They don't just stay stagnant with the things that they come out with. They come out with seasonal drinks, seasonal foods, things that keep people interested, that keep people coming back. So that way their company doesn't become stagnant and they can keep growing and gaining more leverage in the market overall. They also focus heavily on reusable and other products that keep the environment clean, and they have put in many initiatives to kind of continue that effort and kind of reduce their their carbon footprint, so to speak. And Starbucks is also heavily focused on treating customers the best that they can and meet their needs. They do this by training employees in customer service. They don't want you to come through the drive-through or into their store and, just be someplace that people work where, people don't really care about you. They want to make you feel kind of at home. And it's a great strategy because when you just go, when you don't get that level of customer service, you'll go just anywhere for something like coffee. But they offer that, they want to make you feel at home so that you'll think about them and keep coming back to them over any other place that might even be more convenient, like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. And then they also sell brewing equipment and ready-to-drink products that you can buy in stores. And so this kind of differentiates their strategy and things that they do so that they can kind of hit every aspect of the market, not just, their regular brick and mortar stores that you can come into and buy their product. Also you can go to your local grocery store, buy Starbucks products, or even a gas station. they have cold drinks and other hot coffees that can be bought in those places. Next, I want to talk about some of the, I want to do an external environment analysis for Starbucks, kind of talk about their opportunities and threats that they have in the market. Starbucks has opportunities to, I think, to create partnerships and expand into countries that they have not yet entered. They can do this by offering products in bars and restaurants and retail shops. They do this a lot now here in America and other countries, markets that they've entered. But I think they have great opportunity in other emerging markets and countries that are going from developing countries maybe to more developed countries. And there will be a market for people with disposable income in order to gain more profits. And then they could offer new food products in their cafe, such as coffee flavored ice creams, for example. They sell coffee flavored ice creams now in like stores, but I think that they could start offering kind of things like that in their own shops, and would give people a better reason to come in, and especially and order different food products and things like that. They could continue to improve their efforts to keep the environment clean, thus improving their public image. Things seem to be getting more and more towards keeping the environment clean, which is great. And they should continue those efforts, not just for their public image, but also just to keep the environment clean. Starbucks, and they also can extend the number of suppliers that they have. This would be a great opportunity for Starbucks because it would give them it would give them more opportunity to for raw materials and ingredients instead of limiting themselves to certain people or to certain suppliers, so that way that they don't, get in a bind and lose less buying power when it comes to those suppliers if they limit themselves to only a few. Next, I want to talk about some of the threats that Starbucks has. A major threat that Starbucks has is their reputation for poor labor relations. There have been some reports that they don't necessarily treat their employees that great, which is funny because that they have said that they focus so heavily on treating customers great and training their employees, but maybe they've kind of slacked a little bit in actually treating the employees themselves better and focus too much on the customer. So that has kind of hurt their image a little bit for some people. Some people don't want to go and buy Starbucks and things like that because they know that they're not treating their employees right. Another major threat for Starbucks is the COVID-19 pandemic. It's something that's affected everybody all over the world, and it's caused Starbucks to have to close stores, and now people have less disposable income, so they might not be wanting to buy Starbucks just because it's not something you necessarily need, and especially not Starbucks because they're excuse me, such a high-priced coffee brand. And Starbucks also faces threats from rising prices of raw materials and ingredients, which could affect profits as time goes on. If those raw materials and ingredients prices continue to grow, then they'll definitely lose profits. Another possible threat is environmental threats such as natural disasters and labor strikes from suppliers. Next, my partners will give you an internal environment analysis, financial analysis, strategic concerns, and some recommendations for Starbucks. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jordan Tran, and I'll be going over Starbucks' internal environment analysis and the financial analysis of Starbucks as well. So going into the internal environment analysis of Starbucks, it means part of the SWOT analysis, which is the strengths and weaknesses, which is the internal environment analysis. So the strengths of Starbucks is the brand recognition, high quality products, and social responsibility, and the use of technology. However, the weaknesses that hold Starbucks back from being a better company is the expensive products and the culture clash in different markets. So just going over the little breakdowns of each strength. So the brand recognition, Starbucks has a really distinct purpose. So when you walk into a Starbucks, you know like what the environment feels like, and they have a copyright law on the environment, and it's a place where it's really distinct and where people are able to relax and do business. So when you see Starbucks, when you walk into a Starbucks environment, you should know that is a Starbucks. And moving on to the high quality products, Starbucks pays attention to the quality of other products, so they import them from Latin America, which is where the coffee beans are from. And moving on forward, the innovation and risk taking of the use of technology, Starbucks is always implemented technology into their products, such as the Starbucks app, where people can order ahead or pay through the phone. And they also implemented different coffee flavors as well, such as the Frappuccino and different kinds of drinks and teas that can help out in different global aspects, such as China. They like to drink tea rather than coffee, so Starbucks would adjust to that. Starbucks also, for technology-wise, they also would probably run with the first retail stores that have Wi-Fi, retail coffee companies that have Wi-Fi and internet in their stores. And the weaknesses that Starbucks has that holds them back is their products. It's really interesting due to like just because when people think of Starbucks, they think of like they have to be some high class person to get this beverage or some sort of like that. And I think that kind of takes away from a different market, such as Dunkin' Donuts. They have their coffee, which is like $2, while Starbucks coffee is like $4. And I just feel like once they lower their margin of cost, they'll be able to open to a different market. There's also there's also a culture clash for Starbucks due to them being like a mainly coffee shop. It's whenever they move over to China and stuff like that, they're more into teas and things of like that nature, which they are slowly adjusting over. So going into the financial analysis of Starbucks, at the end of the fiscal year 2019, Starbucks had a debt to equity ratio of 58.1%. Then Starbucks fixed cover ratio was 3.52 according to stock analysis, which means for every $3 they earn, $2 of debt occurs. So that kind of tells they make like a dollar profit per thing. Starbucks return on common equity as of June 2020 was 15% according to Reuters, and Starbucks also relies mainly on operating leases, which are off-balance sheet obligations, and they carry a substantial amount of debt. And net margin is another crucial metric for Starbucks, and it shows the company's effectiveness in covering their operating costs, financing, and tax expenses. Unlike the operating margin, the net margin shows Starbucks' financial effectiveness from the perspective of common equity stakeholders. And so the net margin of Starbucks is 5.48% according to Guru Focus, which is higher than industry's average of 2.17%. And that is it. Thank you all for tuning in.
Hi, this is Abdul. I'll be talking about the strategic concerns and recommendations for Starbucks. Now, Starbucks is a known coffee shop that operates in countries around the world. And the reason why it's famous is because of the strategy it follows, which is the broad differentiation strategy. This strategy is when a company specializes in a product or service, in this case coffee, to offer better quality than the competitors. With the quality being better, the customers will not mind paying the premium price. This strategy can be a concern to Starbucks due to it losing some of the potential market share that it could acquire because of the pricing. Starbucks is not that the price and match the competitors in every region, but it should just lower the price to gain more customers. Another thing that I've noticed during the coronavirus pandemic is the long drive-through lanes, which results in some customers going to another place to get their coffee. As an easy solution for that would be opening 2 drive-through lanes so that the customers would continue going to Starbucks. Other businesses have done that, and it seemed very profitable for them to do it. And one recommendation that could help with the two concerns is having a drive-through only Starbucks branch instead of having both drive-through and in-store seating. With that, baristas can focus on selling